of gold helmets is as familiar as any sight in college football. But this year, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are seeking a new identity. Heisman Trophy winner Tim Brown has said goodbye. But waiting in the wings is a crop of players expected to write the next chapter in South Bend. Coach Lou Holtz is going to open a new season tonight against one of Notre Dame's arch rivals as the Irish begin a new year under the glow of the Golden Dome. For a century, the Michigan Wolverines have been doing battle with Notre Dame. And in recent years, they have embodied the tough personality of their coach, Bo Schembechler. He's back again with new vigor and a veteran defense that just may challenge for a championship if they can soar to victory against Notre Dame tonight. It's one of college football's greatest matchups. Michigan against Notre Dame here on CBS. Sports welcomes you to College Football 1988. Our scene is South Bend, Indiana. It was 6 years ago when these same two schools played the first night game ever at Notre Dame. The crowd that night, 59,075, a sellout. The same number that we'll have here tonight as Notre Dame will sell out for the 177th time. And the matchup is a great one. Michigan and Notre Dame coming up. Whom will Lou Holtz turn to tonight? Ricky Waters goes outside to that familiar flanker spot. But let's bring in my colleague now, Pat Hayden, because we want to talk about the man who is really under the gun, and that's their young quarterback, Tony Rice.
Well, you know, a year ago, he was a first-year player playing on a very experienced offensive team, but now he's got a good offensive line, a new offensive line in front of him, new wide receiver, so he's going to have to provide the spark that Tim Brown did a year ago. And, Brett, I think this is going to be a good offensive team down the road, but until that time, it's going to be the Tony Rice show.
Pat, there is another quarterback story at Michigan. Demetrius Brown was their starter a year ago, but he ran into academic difficulties. He's here tonight. He's eligible. He can play, but he will not start. And Bo Schembechler has turned this team over to Michael Taylor.
And Michael Taylor has been around. He's been around 4 years. He's a senior now, and he started 2 games a year ago. He's more of a runner than he is a thrower, a good, very good option runner. And what he has to do is not make the mistakes tonight. He doesn't have to carry the team because he's got a very good offensive line in front of him and a very quick defense.
And as you know, Pat, better than anyone, a quarterback is no better than his offensive line. And here tonight, Michigan holds a big edge in that particular category. This was a day when an upset involving another Michigan school highlighted the afternoon of college football. Let's go to New York now, and here is Jim Nantz with the very latest. Jim?
All right, thank you, Brett. Life without Tim Brown for Notre Dame today. Life without Lorenzo for Michigan State, the defending Big Ten champions. At home against Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights pull off the upset. Quarterback Scott Ernie with 2 touchdown passes. This one on a tip ball. Brett Marsola picks it up, 18-yard score. Rutgers with the first 17 points of the game, then holding on for victory. The shocker there in East Lansing. Head coach Dick Anderson of the Scarlet Knights in our studio will join us at halftime. Now another big one tonight, UCLA against Nebraska. The Bruins with 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, 2 on touchdown passes by Troy Aikman, leading it over second-ranked Nebraska 28-7, 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. And, of course, Ariel Parsegian with us in the studio. And, Coach, your outlook now on Notre Dame and Michigan tonight.
Well, I know the fans like to sort of follow the ball offensively, but I think tonight this game may well be decided on the defensive side of the ball rather than on the offensive side. Notre Dame last year lost its last 3 games, gave up 400 yards a game, 27 points a game. They brought in a new defensive coordinator, Barry Alvarez, changed their strategy and tactics. Michigan was not a vintage Michigan defensive team. They, too, gave up a lot of yardage and points. So the team that improved the most during the offseason may be the winner in this game.
Specifics, what can we look for if these defenses have improved?
I think for Notre Dame, their pass rush, it was non-existent last year. And for Michigan, it's very important for their pass defensive secondary to play well. They gave up a lot of touchdown passes last season.
All right, Coach, we'll look for that. And, of course, we'll be back here at halftime, scores and highlights, but we'll rejoin Brett and Pat in South Bend after this message and a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
It's a gorgeous sight, isn't it? Notre Dame Stadium ready for a night game between the Fighting Irish and the Wolverines. Take a look at the college football record book. The two winningest programs of all time. The Irish 78%, the Wolverines 74%. The coaching matchup tonight is a dandy. Lou Holtz of Notre Dame on the left, his third year, and he goes against Bo Schembechler. What a story he is. Last December, there were doubts that he would ever coach again after he underwent his second open heart surgery. He's back now with vigor, and no man personifies the coach quite like Bo Schembechler.
No man is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. The team, the team, the team.
My immediate reaction was, well, I just hope I live through this thing, but it looks like my career's over. And when I came out of the operation, and in the press conference, I heard the doctor saying, yes, he'll coach again. You can't believe how that made me feel.
And here come Bo and the Wolverines spilling out onto the floor of Notre Dame Stadium in their beautiful natural grass playing surface. His 20th year. Hostilities broke out a little early here tonight. For that story, down to John Dockery.
Grant, you talk about a ticking time bomb. That's what this is. You mentioned there was already a skirmish. The Michigan players were leaving the field. They crossed the path of the Notre Dame players. There was some brushing, some forearms were thrown, there was some pushing and shoving. The coaches had to separate the two teams and send them back into the locker room. The crowd got hostile. The players are short-tempered. This place is ready to explode. Anything can happen. Now up to you, Brent.
From inside the tunnel, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, the 88 version, ready to spill out onto the field with Coach Holtz. Notre Dame. It's a matchup that starts the blood a-tingling, and we'll be coming back with the kickoff.
CBS Sports presents college football. Live from Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. It's the Michigan Wolverines versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Tonight's CFA game is sponsored by New Extra Gold Draft in bottles and cans.
The weather conditions for a football game, this would be the menu. Tonight's busiest man on the floor of this stadium will be the Michigan all-purpose kicker, Mike Gillette. He will kick off, handle the field goals and the extra points. He will also punt. Michigan winning the toss, they have elected to defer. Mark Green, number 24, is set back at the 1-yard line. Can he do for the Irish what Tim Brown did so many times over the last few seasons? Set just so. The catcher on the Michigan baseball team, drafted out of high school by the Kansas City Royals and electing to play baseball and football at Michigan. It's showtime in South Bend. It's Green at the 4. He's got a hole, and he breaks out near the 30-yard line. Now it will be Tony Rice, whom Pat Hayden told you about, leading the Irish offense. The running backs behind him. Green will start at the tailback spot. Braxton Banks is the fullback. Steve Alanese and Ricky Waters. Waters replaces Brown. And big Frank Jacobs will start there at tight end. What should we look for early, Pat?
What the Notre Dame will do out early in the game is come out in a lot of different formations. Holtz likes to probe the defense by formation and then attack in the second series.
Green behind the left side, and he broke a tackle before he is finally brought down by John Milligan. Now, this is a young, inexperienced offensive line, but they helped open that hole. Mike Helt is the center. The guards, Tim Grunhardt has experience, but Winston Sandre is starting and playing in his first game. Dean Brown is a tackle, and Andy Heck has moved from tight end to start at the other tackle. 2nd and 6 for Rice and the Irish. The pitch to Green, and again a hole on the left side for a Notre Dame first down before J.J. Grant can get there. A 13-yard gain. The defense, the nose man, is T.J. Osman from Michigan. Mark Messner is your All-American tackle. We'll hear a lot from him. John Herman starts at the other spot. Inside, J.J. Grant and John Milligan. Tim Williams and Bobby Abrams outside them, facing this 1st and 10 at the Notre Dame 47-yard line. Again, they come with Green, and Milligan, number 30, is ready to bring him down. The rest of that Michigan defense, here are the question marks. Inexperienced secondary. Arnold is their best man back there alongside Key. Murray is the free safety tonight, and Welburn opens at strong. 2nd and 9, and big Derek Brown, the freshman from Merritt Island, Florida, checks in at tight end, number 86. Motion with Waters behind the quarterback. Run the draw package. Green up over the top. It'll leave him in 3rd and long with Mark Messner tripping him up.
A little bit of surprising strategy early with a young offensive line. They've really decided to come out and really try to attack the strength of this Michigan defense and run the ball right at them. You would think with a young offensive line you might try to get outside with the option a little bit more, but they've chosen to come right after Michigan early.
And behind that line, they've used the veteran running back. Green has carried 4 times for 23 yards. Let's see if Coach Holtz calls for a pass in this 3rd down situation. Rice's first pass. He has plenty of time. He overthrows his receiver. Incomplete. Steve Alaniz, the split end out of the state of Texas, was the intended receiver. He had no chance on that pass.
Well, that's one of the things Tony Rice did last year, was throw the ball high. And Lou Holtz has spent an awful lot of time in the offseason and last spring working on just simple fundamentals with Tony Rice.
Jim Sexton standing at his own 40 to punt. Michigan with a dangerous return man. Standing back on their own 10 is the speedy John Colasar. He hangs it beautifully high. Colasar lets it go toward the end zone. It'll roll in for the touchback and come out on the 20-yard line. 48-yard punt, and Michigan's offense will now come out for its first series. The quarterback, Michael Taylor. His running backs. The fullback is Goodwin, Jared Bunch. They hope that Tony Bowles will be a good one, inexperienced. Colasar, whom I spoke about, and Chris Callaway. They're backed up by Greg McMurtry, 3 dandy outside receivers. Derek Walker is the tight end for the Wolverines. 1st and 10, their first possession on their own 20-yard line. Offensive line. Bowles squirts through a hole.
First play, Bo Schembechler comes out with 2 tight ends. Again, he knows he has that experienced offensive line, and I think he's just going to try to punch it at Notre Dame early in the game here.
Here is that offensive line. Dingman and Chester are the guards on the other side of Vitale. The tackles, Huzar and Scrapanak. Scrapanak, a 300-pounder, first-year starter. He has replaced Jumbo Elliott in that offensive line. The draw with Bowles out to the 25. It'll be 3rd and 5. Chris Zorich, the nose man from Chicago's Vocational High School, brings him down. He anchors the middle of that defense. George Williams and Jeff Alm. They'll be tested by this veteran offensive line. Andre Jones and Frank Stams are the outside linebackers. The inside men, and they're good ones. Russ Pritchett, Michael Stonebreaker, the son of the former NFL player Steve Stonebreaker. And behind them over on the sideline, Ned Bolkar, who will replace both off and on. 3rd and 5 now. And the Wolverines show slot and send Callaway in motion behind Taylor, who will throw his first pass. He'll drop it off here in the flat to his tailback, Bowles, who is stopped short of the first down by George Streeter, number 27.
Terrific defense there by the Irish. Their big third down of the year. They rallied as you watch the screenplay. A nice call against the zone defense, which Notre Dame ran here, and a good way to settle your quarterback down. Taylor just dumps the ball off the Bulls. He heads north and south, thinks he's going to pick up the first, but 3 Notre Dame jerseys are there to stop him short of the first down. They rallied around the ball.
So far, a typical Midwest battle. The Lions going to war here early. Now Gillette is set to punt for the first time. Ricky Waters, standing back on his own 30-yard line, is driven back by Gillette inside the 20 on a beautiful punt. But Waters finds a hole, 1 man to beat. He's gone. Ricky Waters makes like Tim Brown on his first punt return. There are no penalty flags. Turns it over to the smallest, Reggie Ho. 5'5", will attempt his first extra point. Perfect. Notre Dame leads Michigan 7-0.
New York Giants. Can it stop the offensive force of the 49ers? Tomorrow on CBS Sports.
If you are a student of numbers, consider this irony. Ricky Waters, his first punt return of 88, returns it 81 yards. Tim Brown's number for a Notre Dame touchdown.
And Brent, what a good punt returner does is not dance around. He takes the ball right upfield, and that's what he does. He's going to get a good block by number 37, Kalikowski, right there. And then the last block by a freshman, number 25. The last man had a chance to tackle him was Gillette, but Rahib Ismail, the true freshman, screens Gillette enough to let Waters get by him for the score. He just went north and south, read the blocks, and didn't dance around in the opening.
From Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And for the last 2 weeks, Coach Bo Schembechler has been saying, don't worry about Tim Brown. They've got somebody as good. A lot of folks said, Coach is throwing smoke.
Bo recruited him very heavily, as a matter of fact.
Billy Hackett, the long kicker for the Irish, puts it on the tee. Reggie Ho will handle everything inside the 40-yard line and the extra points. Hackett is from Sarasota, Florida. The deep men now for Michigan include John Colasar and their tailback, Tony Bowles. High to Colasar at the 6. Knocked down near the 20-yard line. Well, Penn State is on Notre Dame's future schedule. Let's get an update from Jim.
Brent, there have been some question marks about how good were the Nittany Lions. Well, they're answering that question, just wearing out Virginia. Third quarter, here's a touchdown pass. Tom Bills to Gary Brown. 42-7 in the third. Blair Thomas did not suit up for Penn State. Back to Brent and Pat.
All right, Jim, thank you. Blair Thomas, we hope that someday soon he'll be back there in uniform, but there are doubts as to whether or not he'll play this season for the Nittany Lions. 1st and 10 for Michigan. They trail Notre Dame 7-0 in the early going here in South Bend. complete to Colasar. He is brought down by number 27, George Streeter.
It's a nice catch by Colasar, and he was complaining he thought he was face masked, but the ball was thrown low. He came open very early, made a nice little catch on the ball. Michigan being very conservative early here in the game, trying to use the offensive line, throwing short passes to get Michael Taylor settled down.
The Michigan offense matched against a veteran Notre Dame defense. The question with the Irish defense, the rush of the front three. What kind of pressure can they apply during the season? This is Bowles, 42, and he runs into a trio of Irish defenders, and then he's quickly joined and hit by 3 more.
The biggest difference about this Notre Dame team, and particularly this defense, Brent, is the speed on defense. Watch how many guys react to the ball. There's a little bit of a slant going on the left, right in the middle. Stonebreaker, number 42, fights off a couple of guys, and he gets some help from 2 other people there. But there's tremendous speed, more speed than Notre Dame has ever had on defense. They hope they get some big plays out of this defense early in the year.
3rd and 2, and all 3 of the inside linebackers are now in the game. Ned Bolcar joins Stonebreaker in there and Pritchett. So they show a defensive set that they have been rehearsing for Michigan's power game. And they stack up the inside man Bowles. No daylight. They have forced Michigan to punt again as Zorich and George Williams gang up on the ball carrier.
If Chris Zorich and George Williams play up front, the inside backers right there to the left of your screen are going to make a lot of tackles. Watch the nose tackle and the left guard, number 69. They get early penetration. There's Zorich, number 50, and 47 Bolcar's there to finish them off. But Zorich on 2 series, the nose tackle, has played extremely well.
Well, on the last punt by Gillette, Michigan gave up a touchdown return off a punt for the first time since 1984. High snap. Gillette punts this one to Waters, who fields it down on the 19, and he was calling for the fair catch all the way. Perhaps he's still winded. 51-yard punt. And Notre Dame will put it in play right there. An 81-yard punt return by Waters has Notre Dame ahead in the early going. Lightning bolt a short time ago by Ricky Waters, an 81-yard punt return that has given Notre Dame a 7-0 lead on Michigan here. And we see that UCLA picking apart a good Nebraska team, 38-7. And Florida State on the rebound against Southern Mississippi, 42-10. Next Saturday, big appointment for Florida State. Bobby Humphrey, Pat, has had a big game in this one.
Well, 50 yards and 1 touchdown already. He's off to a good start. Notre Dame has started off this game with only 1 pass and 4 rushes.
Now Tony Rice brings the Irish up to the 20-yard line for a 1st and 10. And the pitches to his tailback. And number 40 for Notre Dame brings it around the right side. Tony Brooks, who was not expected to play tonight because of a stress fracture, and his right foot with his first carry here tonight has replaced Mark Green.
Watch the fullback, Braxton Banks, number 39. He is going to make a good block. Anytime you pitch the ball outside, the fullback has got the linebacker one-on-one. Does a nice job of blocking Milligan, and that cleared the way for Tony Brooks, who's got to be wearing the ugliest shoes in college football. You see those?
Fake to Banks. Rice looking deep. Throws it long. Almost caught. That was Raheem Ismail, the freshman wideout from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. They sent him deep on the fly, and David Key there with the coverage for the Wolverines, but he almost broke free for 6 more.
One of the fastest high schoolers in America a year ago. This is what Lou Holtz wants to be able to do this year. Stretch the defense, come up with big plays out of his passing game, but we've seen Tony Rice overthrow 2 open receivers thus far.
Now they flank Brooks, and Banks is the lone setback. Rice to throw, wanted to set the screen, and he overthrew Banks. Rice has overthrown several receivers tonight.
That's 3 overthrows, and I don't think he's really following through. One thing Lou Holtz said this week, he was trying to work on fundamentals with Tony Rice, and when he throws the ball high, it doesn't come off his index finger. It comes off his palm a little bit, and he's got to really follow through to have it come off the index finger to get the accuracy.
3rd and 10. The ball is near the Irish 34-yard line. A 14-yard run by Brooks gave them a first down, and now they have thrown 2 incomplete passes. This is Brooks spinning and down at about the 36-yard line, so Notre Dame will be forced to punt.
Good defensive series there for Michigan. Michigan's defense does a lot of slanting, and the thing the offensive linemen, the young offensive line from Notre Dame, have got to really watch their step, hold their gaps against that defense to prevent sacks.
Jim Sexton's second punt. Colasar standing back at the Michigan 14-yard line. 10 men up front. They drop back for the return. Colasar on one bounce is hammered. Hesitated before making up his mind to field it on the bounce. A 40-yard punt. He took a shot as Pat Terrell, number 15, led the special teams for Notre Dame.
Well, he is a brave man. You have to be when you return punts. And I want to tell you, Todd Light and Pat Terrell, well, they're excellent coverage.
Let's go down to John Dockery.
Brent, the talk along the Michigan sideline is a problem that the 3 linebackers, Pritchard, Boldcar, and Stonebreaker, are causing for the offense. The offensive coaches from Michigan were talking to their line and trying to tell them that this is a problem they have to pick up and deal with those linebackers. Now back to you.
All right, John, in this set, they have 2 of them in there. They are not showing the 3 inside men now. Stunned in the line. Now the handoff, and they have decided to try the fullback. They tried Bowles, and in this set, they will try Bunch, and Ned Bolcar, number 47, tripped him up. Florida beating Mississippi 27-15. The Gators go to 2-0. South Carolina coming up big. And here it is 7-0. Notre Dame leading Michigan. 2nd and 8. Michael Taylor, the Wolverine quarterback here tonight. He is out of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. 6 foot, 202 pounds. Number 33, Leroy Horde, is now the tailback, set behind Bunch. Whistle and flags come down before the snap.
We've got Zorich getting into it with, I think it was Vitale, the center. Delay of game there against Michigan. They tried to send Callaway in motion, took too much time.
That is the first penalty of our game. 5:52 to go in the opening quarter here in South Bend. It doesn't get easy for Michigan next week either. They go home and play the Hurricanes. Jimmy Johnson's Miami team undoubtedly watching this game back in the comfort of their living rooms down in Miami. They will play both of these schools before the year is over. Michigan with a slot formation to the right now. Taylor has time. His receivers were covered, and he is brought down by Frank Stams, the former fullback from Akron, Ohio.
If Notre Dame is going to get off to a good start, not only tonight, but early in this season, the defense is going to have to come up with big plays. That's what happened right there. Good coverage first allowed Frank Stams enough time to make the sack on Taylor. Good coverage caused the sack.
Now it's 3rd and long, Pat. What about the passing game of the Wolverines? They've got great wide receivers. Anybody can get the ball to them.
Well, it's 3rd and forever here. I think they don't risk the interception with the young quarterback. I expect to see them run a screen or maybe a draw, punt the ball, and play defense.
They send Bowles in motion. Now they send Horde out. Taylor under pressure took off, and Michigan is forced to punt again. George Williams cleaned up on the tackle for Notre Dame.
Lou Holtz wasn't sure how good a defense he had. Early in this ball game, the defensive front is handling the Michigan offensive line, which is a surprise.
Gillette has been busy already. And Waters, who electrified this crowd with that 81-yard return for a touchdown. Drives Waters back to the 26-yard line. And he is down at the 42-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 for the Irish. Strong leg, 51-yard punt, and a 16-yard return by Waters. We'll come right back. It'll be Notre Dame's ball. They lead it 7-0.
This is a machine designed.
Bone Wizard of the Oklahoma Sooners. 1 year ago against Oklahoma State, wrecking a knee, having to undergo an operation, and missed the Orange Bowl against Miami. Today, Holloway back at the helm, and Jamin Jamel keeps it here for a score as the Sooners shut out North Carolina, an identical score to last year's matchup. As we go back to Brenton Peck.
All right, Jim, thank you. And so Oklahoma's domination against ACC teams continues with that win. And here, the return of Bo Schembechler. Because of that open heart surgery, he missed the Hall of Fame Bowl against Alabama. Notre Dame being led by Tony Rice on an electrifying punt return of 81 yards by Ricky Waters leads Michigan 7-0. Notre Dame with a 1st and 10 on their own 41-yard line. Banks and Green are the running backs. Bring Green behind the left side of that line. Tony Rice is out of Woodruff, South Carolina. Because of Proposition 48, he could not play as a freshman. But the team loves his leadership.
I think it's the way I am as a person, because, like, I want to be treated like I want to treat a person myself and everything. Just go out of the right frame of mind, know what to do, and, like, showing everybody that, hey, I'm in control, and if you need help, I'm there to help you out. And just having that leadership role can change a lot in football.
He faces a 2nd and 9. Brooks has checked in for him. Brooks coming around from that wing spot. 1st down, and he busts down inside the 40-yard line. 19 yards.
That's a nice little call there by Lou Holtz. Notre Dame probably runs more traps with their fullback and the wingback than anybody in college football. That time, Brooks, number 40, lined up on the wing. They fade the off tackle the other way. Brooks comes underneath for the trap. Andy Heck, number 66, is right out in front of them. But that's a nice play call by Lou Holtz.
We thought that Brooks and Anthony Johnson would come out here on crutches and watch this one. Brooks, 35 yards and 3 carries. Johnson now the fullback blocking. Rice rolling right. Incomplete. Mark Messner, the All-American defensive lineman, applying pressure on Rice that time.
When Messner can do that to you, he comes clean so quickly because he's so fast off the ball. He is easy to miss because he slants. He's not a big guy, but you can miss him quickly, and he puts a lot of pressure on quarterbacks.
Matched against Andy Heck in many one-on-one situations here tonight. Heck, the former Notre Dame tight end, one of our great duels down on the inside. 2nd and 10 for Rice and Notre Dame. Motion with Pat Eilers. Long count. Rice taking off on the option and keeping it for a 1st down for Notre Dame to the Michigan 22-yard line.
Brett, I have to tell you, I'm a little surprised how cohesive this offense is because they are so young. This is the first option play Notre Dame has done, and this is one of Rice's specialties. They fake the ball to the inside fullback. Rice saw that the pitch man was taken there by the defender, number 3, Wellborn, so just turned it upfield. North and south runners we've seen here from Notre Dame today.
So Tony Rice gaining 15 yards on that carry. The only negative statistic, and that was a negative involving Michigan State. Congratulations to Dick Anderson and Rutgers in that one. Rice handing off that time to the big fullback Banks, and he busts down close to the 15-yard line before John Milligan, number 30, could wrap him up in that game. The Sporting News, in ranking the college teams before the season, said that Notre Dame had the best offensive backfield in the nation. Then there were several injuries, and there were some doubts. But in watching them here tonight, they have got skill and depth.
I'm amazed that a young offensive line has done a pretty good job tonight as well.
Banks leads Green, and Messner comes through for one of those great hits. He has that special talent, that Alex Karras ability of getting Skipping past the block and penetrating on it.
Watch how quickly he gets off the ball. It's a no-hitter there by the offensive lineman. There's no chance. The fullback goes right by him, and Mark Green has no chance. But I watched film of Messner this week, and he'll go under you, he'll go over you, he'll go inside, outside, whatever it takes. He's a little unorthodox, but he gets around the ball.
His daddy played professional football for the Lions and the Steelers, Max Messner. Lou Holtz wanting a timeout as Rice at Notre Dame face it. Now Rice catches out of the corner of his eye. With the clock running down, he sees that the coach wants timeout, facing an important third down with the ball at the Michigan 20-yard line. There's about a minute and a half left in the first quarter, 1:21 to be exact, and Notre Dame leading 7-0. And this is the start of football madness this weekend on CBS. And hope you'll join us tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time and spend some time with Dick Butkus and Irv Cross and Will McDonough for the NFL Today. And then many of you will watch the San Francisco 49ers. We'll check in on the condition of Joe Montana. They'll be taking on the New York Giants after that spectacular second half against Washington. Chicago with a big one at Indianapolis. Pat, let me ask you about that game. Who do you like in that game, the Bears or the Colts?
I like the Bears. They're off to a great start. Looks like they're playing aggressive defense. Looks like Dent's going to be back playing.
Detroit and the Rams, New Orleans, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Those are our early starts after the NFL Today. So it was last week. Tim Brown made his debut with the Los Angeles Raiders. And it was a sight to behold as Tim Brown, wearing 81 for the Raiders, went 97 yards with a kickoff return and a touchdown. And without a doubt, Tim Brown took another early lead in his quest to repeat his Heisman Trophy winner.
Are you trying to give it to him again? You took enough grief last year.
His replacements do. I didn't catch any flack this week. I mean, nobody complained me for being a homer or what.
Boy, oh boy.
He's pretty good, isn't he, folks? So's his replacement.
Yeah, Ricky Waters is. I don't know if he's going to make him forget Tim Brown for a while, but he's off to a heck of a start.
Pat, we'll see this Clemson bunch. Coach Ford down there in Death Valley next Saturday against Florida State. What a dandy that's going to be.
18 returning starters for Clemson.
Now, Lou Holtz has sent in the wishbone. Hanks is in there with Brooks, and Waters is lined up. Sort of a busted play. Rice keeps it and got to the 15-yard line, and that means a field goal unit for Lou Holtz will come onto the field.
The call doesn't surprise me. Even though it was third and long, it was a true option. He was trying to get the ball outside, but didn't.
Here is a story, Pat. Tell us about Reggie Ho from Hawaii, who will attempt this field goal.
Well, I think he is 5'5", but watch his hands before he kicks. He goes through this voodoo or this kung fu routine of his. He had to get his jersey, I think, in the bookstore. I don't know if the team had a jersey that fit him. But watch his hands. I love it.
Voodoo. 3 more for the Fighting Irish. Ho gets the last laugh, a 31-yarder, and Notre Dame leads Michigan 10-0. Leading by 10, and it's not true, Pat, that Reggie Ho was the leprechaun a year ago.
He's a lot bigger than Ho, isn't he?
He sure is.
Well, Brent, I have to tell you, I am surprised thus far in the game that the Notre Dame offensive line really seems to be controlling the tempo of this game.
Well, that's fair enough. You weren't surprised last week.
I was not. Miami had a pretty good ball club.
Beckler, and Tracy Williams has been sent out by the coach to help in the return. It will be Bowles and Williams. Colasar, who was hammered on that one punt return, is not back there this time. It's shaken up. It's a high, short kickoff, and it is fielded at the 15-yard line by Leroy Horde. Fumble. Notre Dame recovers.
Wow. And I think Bo Schembechler is going to be upset that Horde retrieve the kick.
Arnold Alley recovers it, and remember a year ago, Pat, Michigan turned the ball over 7 times in that opening game loss to Notre Dame, and here's their first one here tonight, and Notre Dame with another scoring opportunity.
Notre Dame special teams thus far have played exceptionally well.
They've had a punt return for a touchdown. They've kicked a field goal. Sexton has punted well. And now they've recovered a fumble to give Rice and the Irish a 1st and 10 at the Michigan 22. Double tight end formation. Banks in front of Green. Power football for Green. Hole on the right side. A penalty flag is down at the line of scrimmage, however.
That's a hold.
One of the first mistakes by that young offensive line, and Coach Holt's unhappy about it.
They've been unsuccessful throwing the ball. He's going to face a 1st and 20 now, and it'll be interesting to see whether he tries to put the ball in the air. He's been unsuccessful, or whether he'll try to either pick at him or run the fullback inside, try to get himself back in field goal range.
The coach wants to know, I think you can read his lips, who's it on? He wanted to know who was guilty of holding in that sequence.
No offensive linemen are volunteering, are they?
No, I didn't see anybody holding their hand up out there. Nevertheless, he will send out a new tackle. Justin Hall, 73, goes out there, and Dean Brown, number 71. That's circumstantial evidence. I know you're an attorney, but I find him guilty.
That's a good sign that Dean Brown was the one holding.
Tight formation again. Rice keeps it on that option, and Powers behind the right side of the offensive line. Let's go to John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Brent, you mentioned John Colazar not being back to receive that kickoff. Well, he's along the sidelines. He's having ankle problems. Not real serious, but the doctors are checking on it. He can't put pressure on it. Now back to you, Brent.
All right, Doc, thank you very much. We've come to the end of the first quarter. Notre Dame leading Michigan 10-0. College football on CBS will return after this message and a word from your local station.
This is Precious Cargo. Telecommunication.
Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend with Pat Hayden and John Dockery. I'm Brent Musburger. The Irish lead 10-0 because Waters returned a punt 81 yards for a touchdown. The Wolverines, somewhat rattled here in the opening quarter, have had 1 turnover. And in rushing yards, the Irish, with a young, inexperienced offensive line, getting the job done. The key play of the game, Gillette's 53-yard punt, and Waters returned it 81 yards as he steps into the role that Tim Brown occupied for 4 years here at Notre Dame, winning a Heisman Trophy, and Waters' return gives the Irish a lead. Now at the line, Tony Rice and Notre Dame on 2nd and 10. They dropped the screen, and it appeared to be incomplete. It was. It bounced first on the ground, so it will be 2nd and 10 for Notre Dame. Now that will show you that inexperience. Heck, a converted tight end. The first start for Sandry, Helt, and Brown tonight. Grunhard has had 6 starts. Absolutely no experience. Compare that with Michigan's offensive line, and you'll see how many times they've been out there. Huzar, Chester, Vitale's 35, Dingman, and Skrabanak, his first start, but he's a 300-pounder and has a great future, they tell us. 3rd and 10 for Rice and the Irish. Time off a pump fake, almost intercepted. Through to a crowd, and Trip Wellborn deflected it.
Tony Rice is still not throwing the ball well. He is 0 for 6 now. He's looking for Derek Brown, the freshman out of Florida. This guy's got an incredible wingspan, and he can really develop into one of the great receivers, I think, in the country over the next few years, is Derek Brown.
Pat, give us an overview of what we've seen here so far.
Well, I think, as I said earlier, what really surprises me is the dominance of the Michigan offensive line when they've run the ball. They ran for over 90 yards in the first quarter. Again, watch the hands of Reggie Ho.
And also watch the follow-through. How can a little man do it? Well, some of you play golf. Some of you aren't too big. You know the timing, and the follow-through is everything. Let's watch the 5-4 Ho. Plays perfect again. The Irish lead the Wolverines 13-0, and while they celebrate, let's take a look at this beautiful university, Notre Dame in South Bend.
And he's an easy guy to pick up.
3.86 grade point average. A pre-med student, walk-on kicker from Hawaii.
Might let him operate on me.
St. Louis High School in Honolulu. Played soccer before he took up football. Now Hackett will kick it off. Williams and Bowles are set deep, but they are standing up at the 8, looking for a return this time. This is Bowles from the 2. He's got daylight. Bowles breaks free, but he is run down from behind. Number 32, DeJuan Francisco, the fastest man on the Notre Dame team, caught him from behind and saved a touchdown. But it was a great 59-yard return by Bowles.
And this is just what Michigan needed. Remember, special teams play about a third of the game, and when your offense and defense can't do it sometimes, your special teams have to. Bowles follows his wedge. He picks up a couple of good blocks inside. You see the big hole there, and he's got pretty good speed. Puts a nice little fake on the kicker. Somebody tries to trip him, but Francisco, as you mentioned, the fastest player at Notre Dame, puts the stop on him.
The first 3 possessions for Taylor and the Wolverines have been 1, 2, 3, and out. The old cha-cha-cha, and they stack up Bowles again that time on first down. Nothing going. Brian Flannery, 92, led the charge. And speaking of the charge, Alabama and Coach Curry win. Auburn over Kentucky, but the Wildcats were stubborn in that one. Georgia looking impressive. They're a sleeper in the Southeastern Conference this year. Washington beating Purdue. It's a sad start for the Big Ten in non-conference competition so far. Ohio State did look good. I looked in on them this afternoon against Syracuse, but Michigan State was beaten by Rutgers.
We have not seen Michael Taylor run the option, and that's what he does best.
Bowles, and this time Taylor will throw it. He is flushed out of that pocket, and the Irish defense does the job again as Frank Stams gets him out of bounds. So again, the offense not going anywhere. Will he turn it over to Demetrius Brown? Pat, what's your thoughts about that?
I don't think so. I don't think he'll do it this early. If it keeps on maybe at halftime, he might make a change. But Michael Taylor just needs to pick up a first down here, I think, to get himself in position to put some points on the board, and that's what Michigan needs most right now.
Ford checks into that backfield. Bullcar and Stonebreaker, 2 of the inside men. Taylor with that inside shuffle to Horde. Against that rush, it's a slick play. And Michigan gets a first down out of it on that trick play call.
And that was tremendous determination by Horde, because I thought he was going to get pulled down about a yard short of the first down markers. I think he saw him, and he's got strong power runner, big thick legs, drag 2 defenders for the first down. That's a big play for the Michigan offense. Take a look here. It's a little shuffle pass inside. The nice thing about this, if you don't complete it, it's not a fumble. It's an easy little catch. You draw the defensive lineman upfield, pitch it underneath the Horde, and he picks up the first down.
McMurtry and Callaway are the wide men. Ford and Bunch the running backs. This is Ford following Bunch, and the Irish defense ganging up on him at the 25-yard line. Stonebreaker was there. Stams was there.
The down lineman for Notre Dame tonight so far. We're a question mark going into the game, but thus far, Chris Zorich, Jeff Alm, and George Williams, the 3 down linemen for Notre Dame, have really done a nice job. Just stuffed every hole. There's no lanes for the running backs to run.
2nd and 8. Rick Walker, the tight end, replaces Jeffrey Brown. He brings the play in for Coach Schembechler. Callaway and McMurtry are out to the left, and they will run forward straight ahead, and he is hammered. Stonebreaker did exactly that.
Is Stonebreaker the perfect name for a middle linebacker? Top right of the screen, number 42, Michael Stonebreaker. He reads the play, and he's going to see the blocks come down here, and his job is just to step up into the hole, key the fullback, and make the play. He reads his key, sees the guard block down, finds a little hole there, and is there to really put a helmet on Horde.
Now Bowles is back with Bunch. Bunch lines up as the fullback on 3rd and 6, and they split out of it. McMurtry and McMurtry, who spins, and the second man gets him down. Pat Terrell, number 15, was the first man to get a hand on him.
Pretty big cushion one is 3rd and 6 there for McMurtry. And a nice little toss out there by Michael Taylor. I sense that he's kind of settling down here a little bit, but a nice easy throw on the out route to McMurtry.
Well, McMurtry was a #1 draft choice by the Boston Red Sox. Passed up a contract to go into their farm system as a center fielder. And Bo Schembechler says he loves football. And you'll hear more from him tonight as Florida State evens its record at a victory apiece in a big way. They come right straight ahead with the fullback that time, Bunch, 6'2", 240 pounds, recruited out of the state of Ohio by Michigan.
Bo Schembechler likes to use the wishbone inside the 20-yard line because he thinks it's the best formation to get you 3 or 4 yards, and he is here in the 4-down zone. Watch the offensive line as they push out and really give Bunch a little seam inside. Good block there by Vitale, the center on the nose tackle. Zurich really created the crease for Bunch.
Let's get inside the 5 for a first down. This is 2nd and 7. This is Ford, and he is tripped up. That was a great defensive play that time by George Williams, number 69, 6'3", 280 pounds from the state of New Jersey. Both of these schools have national recruiting programs. You will see athletes from almost every state in the country at Notre Dame and Michigan.
69 right here, George Williams. He is very quick off the ball. He is a big man. He's 282 pounds, yet he gets off very quickly, beats the block inside, and comes from the backside of the play to put the stop on him.
Now this is 3rd and 5. They can get a first down without scoring. They've got Callaway and McMurtry out to Taylor's right. And they run the draw play. Close to a first down. With that second effort, he may have gotten it. Let's see where they spot the ball. That was Bowles. The Irish expecting a pass that time. And the officials have called a timeout.
Nice little call by Bo Schembechler because they did come out in a passing formation. They had 2 receivers to one side. They were in split backs, and ordinarily that's a passing formation for Michigan, but then he ran the draw play.
33. Ball is at the 5, and they're measuring now.
6 special.
So close.
I think he's got to go for it.
He trails by 13 points. 10 minutes. Surely he can squeeze a couple of inches out of 4th down. He has a running quarterback.
You have to find out about your team right now. It's a non-conference game, first game of the year. He's going to find out what kind of team he has.
So Taylor brings the Wolverines up in the wishbone formation. Bowles, Bunch, and Horde. Double tight end. Taylor's confused with one of his running backs. He keeps it himself for the first down.
I don't know what he was pointing back to his tailbacks for when he was running the quarterback sneak. Good call. When you have a center like John Vitale, the all Big Ten center, one of the best in the country, that's what you do. He's moving around. I don't understand what he's trying to tell the back when he's running a quarterback sneak.
It is possible that he's trying to tell the referee that it's a little noisy down in that end zone. I cannot be positive, but the referee was off to the right, and he turned his head in that direction twice. Now, 1st and goal, wishbone against Holtz and the Irish. This is Williams, close to the goal line.
This is not the kind of wishbone that Oklahoma runs. This is a power wishbone that Michigan has that they use inside the 20-yard line. Play defense here for just a moment and watch some big bodies come right at you. Big old Skrepanek coming at you. Tracy Williams following the block and just finding a little bit of a crease, but it's a great offense, the wishbone is, to get those 2 or 3 yards because you have 2 tight ends and 4 guys who can carry the ball.
Skrepanek is 6'8", 322 pounds from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And then over the top for the touchdown. Leroy Horde scores for the Wolverines. Gillette is on the field to attempt the Gillette, the baseball player, can throw off of this formation to the blocking back who looks in on him, but this time they swing it over to protect him for the kick. Ken Solemn is the holder, number 14. Gillette hammers it through.
Terrific drive here by Michigan, set up by Bowles. Kickoff return, remember. Power football by Michigan using that offensive line. Ford's not going to make people forget Dwight Stones with this jump, but nonetheless, he did get into the end zone.
They go 38 yards in 12 plays, and the Wolverines have jumped right back into it. It's 13-7 Notre Dame. Tally, out of Detroit, 6'1", 273, led the way for the TD, and he talked about playing center.
Center has to be more in control of things and calling out the defenses and kind of organizing the offensive line. So I think for me, it's just control my aggression at times, you know, so I'm not over-aggressive and keeping within, you know, control aggression, I guess would be the word we're looking for.
Vitale right here in the middle, controlled aggression. Watch how he comes off the ball. The most important thing for center is the first step. He's got the best step, first step, of any center in college football.
Ford up over the top for the touchdown. Stonebreaker appeared to have a shot, but may have slipped up trying to fill the hole. And Ismail, the freshman, is set back at the goal line for Notre Dame. So they're going to try the speed merchant here to return a Gillette kickoff. He's going to get a chance at the 6. Busts up the middle, and he is hammered right there. Marshall, number 59, led the assault on Ismail. Well, next Saturday, Florida State on the comeback. Now 1-1 goes to Death Valley to take on Clemson. Looking forward to that one. Always love to go down there and ride around in Coach Ford's pickup.
One of the great scenes in college football down there in Death Valley. You're a favorite down there. I know you are, Brent.
I love that scene. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. Tony Rice's inability to complete passes has been the only negative, and they've settled for some field goals here in the first half. This is Brooks. Checking that scoreboard for the day. Penn State impressive in their opener. Virginia was going to field a good team this year. West Virginia, a dark horse for number 1 down the road, and Phillips with a huge day behind Major Harris. Duke beating Tennessee 31-14. That's a surprise, isn't it? Mississippi State over Vanderbilt in the 3rd. That's the very latest. Jim Nance and Ara Parsegan will be coming your way at halftime. 2nd and 6 for Green, who comes to the right side. Still short of the first down. Pat, the inability of Rice to complete passes so far in the first half, what do you think that does to Lou Holtz's strategy and play calling on the sidelines now?
Well, he knows he's playing very good defense, so he doesn't have to throw the ball as much as he probably thought when he came into the ball game, particularly when he's leading 13-7. But somewhere down the road here, Tony Rice is going to have to complete some passes. In ordinary, to get your confidence up, you need to throw a little screen pass. One completion might get him settled.
3rd and 2, double tied in, and Wishbone for the Irish. Off the option, the first down. They handed it to Anthony Johnson. He's a hometown product. 6 foot, 225 pounds from South Bend. Bobby Abrams and J.J. Grant making the stop for the Wolverines.
Right side of the Notre Dame offensive line really doing a terrific job. That's Brown and Grunhard on the right side. Watch as they get off the ball. There's a little bit of crease there for Anthony Johnson. That's all he needs when it's 3rd and 2. Just a little bit of crease to pick up the first down.
13-7. Notre Dame leading Michigan. This is a 1st and 10 for the Irish. They're on their own 42, and this is Brooks. He gets to the 45, and the ball comes free down there, but the Irish maintain control. Let's go downstairs to John Dockery.
Thank you, Brent. You might be wondering where the distinctive Michigan helmet came from. Well, back in 1938, Fritz Chrysler wanted to make it easier for his quarterback to spot his receivers downfield, and that's why he put the distinctive stripe on the helmet. The face mask came later. As a matter of fact, Brent, up until 1940, a player couldn't wear a face mask unless he had a broken nose or some other facial injury. That's back when men were tough. Now back to you.
Don't let some of those youngsters out there hear you say that. Remember. Second down now. Rice on the pitch off the option. Short of the first down. Good defensive play by Bobby Abrams, number 24.
It certainly was. He really, as we look at the play selection here, Michigan, either team has really thrown the ball very well. The surprise, of course, is Notre Dame rushing the ball as well as they have. Ordinarily, it takes a young offensive line a long time to mature because nowhere else in a team do you need as much teamwork and companionship as you do in the offensive line. But they've come together well tonight.
This is third and a long 2 for Notre Dame. Rice is 0 for 6 passing here tonight. Green for the first down. Gets inside the 45-yard line. Mark Green, number 24, has been underrated here at Notre Dame simply because of the presence of the great Tim Brown. Green is 6 foot, 184 pounds, out of Riverside, California.
Those that take the ball right up field. Picked up a nice block by his fullback, Johnson, number 22, followed that and picked up the first down. Nice running.
39 yards and 10 carries for Green. Chains are moved. The Irish with a slot formation to the right. Off a fake to Johnson. Rice now brought down. Mark Messner, number 60, gets in and makes another big defensive play for the Wolverines.
You know, Messner really loves to play the game of football. That sounds kind of funny, but I think a lot of guys really go through the motion, get excited, but don't love the game like Messner. Top of the screen, number 60, beats the center very quickly. That's hard to do for a center to try to pull out and block him, and puts the stop on Tony Rice. But Messner improves every day at practice. He's become a much better player in his career at Michigan.
Tony Brooks is a flanker out to the right. Waters here in the slot on the left side. And Rice intercepted. A ricochet pass that should have been caught by Waters, and David Key gets the rebound and a turnover for the Wolverines with 4:11 to go here in the first half.
Tough break for Tony Rice because this ball was pretty well thrown and Waters should have had it. He gets pretty good protection by the offensive line. You see they're double teaming Messner there on the right. The ball is drilled right in the numbers. He slipped on the turf a little bit, but then he looked like he took his eye off the ball. He made a nice play as he stepped back to make the interception.
You will look for David Key's bio in the Michigan guide, and you will find nothing. You won't find his name on any of the rundowns, and you ask Michigan, why can't I read about David Key? And the answer is because he was in Bo Schembechler's doghouse when they printed the media guide, and he said until he learns how to do better, we'll keep his name and his bio information out of there. I dare say after that interception.
Yeah. Don't mess with Bo, I guess, yeah. Know that.
Equipment problem for Rice down here on the Notre Dame sideline. So here come the Wolverines with 4:11. 13-7, Notre Dame lead.
Michigan has all 3 timeouts.
Taylor to Bowles. And Bowles out to the 38-yard line with Francisco bringing it down. Let's present this week's Toyota Leadership Awards. They go to the players who've been singled out by the coaching and faculty staff for their performance in academics and citizenship. And our winners are Mark Messner from Michigan. He's a sports medicine major from Heartland, Michigan. And Tom Gorman from Notre Dame. He's a government and history major. He's injured and not playing tonight, but Tom will be back next week against Michigan State. And Toyota donates a check in the amount of $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Congratulations to both players. On second down, Ford swinging wide, close to a first down.
Brent, a terrific block by number 75, Greg Skrepanek. He lined up at the right tackle and really came down. Came in 345 pounds this year, got himself down to 320. Brent, I'm not sure whether he was founded or born, but he's a big old guy, and he's going to be a very good player through the years for Bo Schembechler. They're going to run a lot of power behind him.
Have they given him a nickname yet?
I don't know. They call him Rhode Island. He's big as the state, I think. Quick feet for a big man.
First and 10 for the Wolverines. Ball is at the 43-yard line. offensively.
Remember Jamie Morris a year ago, I think he rushed for over like 1,700 yards for Michigan. Bo Schembechler is hoping that Tony Bowles can ultimately become the guy at tailback. They've used a couple of different guys tonight, but he's got terrific speed. They want him to become the guy.
Well, we've seen a couple of them tonight, but Alan Jefferson has been slowed because of a shin problem, a calcium deposit. Second and long for Michael Taylor and Michigan. This is Bowles, hole on the left side. And Bowles gets a Michigan first down inside the Notre Dame 45-yard line. Michigan with a lot of time. 2:41 on the clock, and all three of their timeouts remain.
Watch the center and the left guard right there. Dean Dingman's the left guard. Vitale is the center. They're going to double team Zorich, the nose, and create a gaping hole here for Bowles. Terrific block there by Dingman, 78, and that's what you're going to have to do. Create a little bit of a seam for Bowles to pick up 6, 7, 8 yards on first down.
This veteran offensive line seems to have solved the Notre Dame defense, alternating the three inside linemen off a fake to Horde, but a great play by Stams. They did not solve his rush that time.
Stams beat a pretty good offensive tackle for the Wolverines. Huzar, number 74. Watch number 30, Stams. He's on the left of the screen. He's going to come in here and make the sack on Michael Taylor. He beats number 74 quickly, Huzar. Pretty good coverage again, I think, which made Taylor hold the ball.
Now it is 2nd and 13 for Michigan. Callaway coming in motion. They run Bowles off the draw. Are down at the 45, and it'll be 3rd and long. Wes Pritchett, the inside linebacker from Atlanta, number 34, 6'6", 250. And another Big Ten team experiencing difficulty, but it's time to say something about Washington State and Oklahoma State. He's hammering Miami of Ohio. The manager down there for Miami of Ohio tonight is Bo Schembechler's son, Shimmy Schembechler. Bo graduated from Miami. He was an offensive tackle down there, played for Woody Hayes for 3 years, started his coaching career down at Oxford, Ohio. 3rd and 11 now for the Wolves. Taylor gets away from Stams, throws incomplete down the sideline. A heavy rush that time, and Flash Gordon went after the quarterback, and so did Francisco.
Frank Stams, though, is having a whale of a ball game here in the first half. They wanted big plays. Lou Holtz wanted big plays out of this defense. Now, bottom of the screen, you're going to see Sam's really put this pressure on Michael Taylor here. Again, beats Huzar quickly. This time to the inside, just overpowers him. And he's not that big. He's only 237 pounds. Taylor does a nice job of getting rid of the ball.
That is Taylor's first incompletion as Gillette hangs one up, and this one will be downed at the 10-yard line. So when you come back, we'll have 44 seconds remaining in the first half. Notre Dame leading Michigan 13-7.
To us,
remaining. Bo wants to talk to his defense.
Very important series here for Michigan's defense. The thought, of course, is to stuff them, call a couple timeouts, and force a punt. Maybe get something on the board before halftime.
Tony Rice conferring with Coach Holtz. While you were away, Green gained a couple of yards, so that will leave them with 2nd and 8 at the 12-yard line. As the Wolverines call a timeout, we'll take another break, and we'll come right back.
Who wants to think about
31 seconds, and so Pat Schembechler's strategy is to try to get a field goal attempt here before halftime.
At least or try to block a punt. David Arnold has blocked 4 punts in his career at Michigan. That might be a thought as well, but the idea first is to stuff Notre Dame and force the punt.
Rice comes up with Johnson and Green set behind him. Double tight end. 2nd and 8. This is Green. Penalty flag is down. Green is out of bounds near the 20, but there is a penalty flag thrown. It's been a well-played first first half by these two teams.
Incredible for the first game as well. We haven't really seen too many penalty flags.
Holding against Notre Dame.
And holding is the call against the Irish, and I think I heard Coach Holtz saying who again down there.
Again, no hands go up.
The time is important right now with Rice getting ready to huddle with Coach Holtz. 26 seconds, 2 timeouts left for Michigan. Also, the Irish have too.
They've had a little bit of success with the option play when Tony Rice has kept the ball and run it. Can't afford the turnover here. Michigan will call a timeout immediately if they stop him, obviously.
You know, it's interesting that he sent the young speedster in. Ismail on the field, number 25. They showed him wide earlier and sent him on a fly pattern. They sent him out way to the right side of this formation. Johnson and a first down. David Key forced to make the tackle, but a 22-yard run by Johnson bails the Irish out of a hole.
And that is a big, big play for the Irish. I want to tell you, the offensive line again opened up a gaping hole for Johnson. It wasn't a surprise call. A draw is really kind of a usual call on 3rd and long. It's incredible. Big hole there for Johnson.
Final seconds ticking away in the first half. Rice will put it up deep this time. This is Ismail going long, incomplete, and David Arnold was there with him. The first half comes to an end, and it was at Danville. Notre Dame 13, Michigan 7. The play of the half, Ricky Waters. First punt return. And it was reminiscent of one Tim Brown as Waters hauled it back 81 yards with Ismail throwing the final block on the punter to free Waters for the score. 13-7, Jim Nance and Ara Parsegan will be back after this message.
Over forgotten. But if I'm lucky, I'll be remembered.
Enjoy college football, an American tradition.
We'll be back to South Bend for Notre Dame and Michigan as we continue on CBS Sports in just a moment.
Is underway. High and short. Williams at the 15, bobbles it, falls on it right there. Another mistake on the special teams for the Wolverines. Well, Pat Hayden, we've got a quarterback with Notre Dame, Tony Rice, who has not completed a pass. What can they do to get him into the flow?
Well, throwing the football is a matter of rhythm, and it looks like he is overstriding. That's been his problem all last year. It looks like it's been his problem now. I think he needs to get his confidence. Just a couple of quick passes, maybe a screen pass.
We'll be back to South Bend for Notre Dame and Michigan as we continue on CBS Sports in just a moment.
Is underway. High and short. Williams at the 15, bobbles it, falls on it right there. Another mistake on the special teams for the Wolverines. Well, Pat Hayden, we've got a quarterback with Notre Dame, Tony Rice, who has not completed a pass. What can they do to get him into the flow?
Well, throwing the football is a matter of rhythm, and it looks like he is overstriding. That's been his problem all last year. It looks like it's been his problem now. I think he needs to get his confidence. Just a couple of quick passes, maybe a screen pass, a quick out to the wide receiver. That gets one guy going and feeling better about himself.
All right, right now it will be Michigan down on the field, set to go with the first offensive series here of the second half. In the first half, that was their last 5 possessions. Michael Taylor pitches to Bowles, who swings when they came out for the second half, John Dockery spoke to Bo Schembechler.
What about the offensive line of Notre Dame? Did they surprise you by their play?
Well, I think their backs are running hard. I don't know how well they're blocking up front. Their backs are running harder than ours, and we just have to change that.
How about you in the locker room? Calm, or was it fire and brimstone?
Oh, no, we're calm. We know we can win it if we just play good football.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, John. That little smile by Bo.
I think Bo is right. Unless Notre Dame can throw the football with some success the second half, Michigan's going to win this ball game.
Callaway, the motion receiver, Bowles, the tailback, a huge hole. He explodes into the secondary, out to the 36-yard line. Stan Smagala, number 29, forced to make the tackle after an 18-yard burst.
Terrific blocks on the left-hand side. Digman, number 78, blocks down. 64 coming around his Chester, put a big block. And Bowles has got some breakaway speed. Runs with his feet close to the ground, a little bit like Tony Dorsett. That enables him to cut very, very quickly.
Michael Taylor started at quarterback. He's gone all the way. This is the big fullback bunch. He's out to the 41, and Wes Pritchett, number 34, the first Irish defender to hit him there.
Important series here for Michigan because the first series of each half really sets the tone. We've seen two plays right now where the Michigan offensive line really came off the ball, much unlike they did in the first half. This is the Michigan line we expected to see tonight.
Getting 5 yards a crack. Jeffrey Brown has brought the play in. The Michigan coaching staff continues to shuttle tight ends. Callaway in motion. They bring Bowles, and he is tackled by number 38, Flash Gordon.
Tackle made by Gordon.
This gives you an idea of where Michigan is attacking against the Notre Dame defense. This is behind their offensive line. You're looking at this from the offensive side of the ball.
And no surprise, right up the middle where most of the yardage has come, right behind John Vitale, the center. It was really had a pretty good night.
Leroy Horde has checked into the backfield. Now there is confusion. They're trying to get the wishbone set. It's third and short. They ran Horde into the heart of the defense, and the Irish held. No first down. Frank Stams and a host of defenders in there to fill that hole, and there was definite confusion and a late arriving back.
And that surprises me that Michigan ran to the right, but because Chris Zorich, the nose tackle, had moved over, was shaded that side. Ordinarily, a quarterback comes up, keys the nose guard, runs away from him, but they ran right into Chris Zorich that time.
Gillette to punt. Standing on his 30-yard line. One of those punts was returned 81 yards for a touchdown. Waters is back again, and Gillette drives him inside the 5. He fumbles, goes back into the end zone. Coming out, and he is out of bounds. He is out of bounds at the 7-yard line. What about his judgment there, Pat?
Well, there's an old adage in football, you let a ball drop inside the 10-yard line. You don't try to field it, but you have a guy with tremendous confidence returning punts. He thought he could do it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad call for him.
A 56-yard punt and a 7-yard return, and a buzz in this partisan Notre Dame crowd because the Michigan defense can now go on the attack as Notre Dame will have a 1st and 10 at the 8-yard line coming out. Banks is the fullback. Green will be the tailback. Gillette, the busiest man in the stadium tonight.
And first down is the key here. If you get 4 yards on first down, then you can run the ball a couple of times. If you don't get those 4 yards, you put your offense really in a bind.
Rushing in the first half, that's what they averaged. Tony Brooks and Anthony Johnson were supposed to be injured and out of this game, but they were impressive. Mark Green, the workhorse. Shadow of their goal, 1st and 10 for the Irish. The fullback, Banks, straight up into the middle of that defense, and T.J. Osmond, 94, from Pittsburgh, bringing it down. We talked about where Michigan ran it. Now here's how the Irish attack.
Pretty evenly balanced the Irish were here. Over the right side, they have a strong side and a weak side, so their guards and tackles flip-flop. But they did a nice job behind Dean Brown and Tim Grunhard, their strong side guard and tackle.
Second and long for Rice. Green brought down at the line of scrimmage. Mark Messner, number 60, their All-American. Right in the middle of that run.
Messner will go underneath you, around you, outside, and it's so tough when you're an offensive tackle because he's so quick, you can lose him right on your first step and he's in the backfield.
So that great punt by Gillette sealed the Irish up, and now they have a 3rd and 8. And they've hit on only 2 of 6 previous 3rd downs. They go with the outside speed, number 25, Ismail checks in. Waters is the slot man to the right. And Rice to throw it. He had time. Almost intercepted. A great move by Abrams, number 24.
Like Tony locked in on the receiver the whole way, and Bobby Abrams, the outside linebacker, just read his eyes and really should have made the play. That's the difference between winning and losing big games like this. Abrams really should have made the play on that one. But good coverage nonetheless.
Now it is Sexton set to punt, and Chris Callaway, wide receiver, will return his first punt, standing at the Michigan 46-yard line. High fair catch signaled at midfield and down at the 49-yard line. So it will be good field position for the Wolverines after that 41-yard punt. We'll take a timeout and be right back.
Highest standards in the world, and by Michelob. Michelob is a proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team.
Bo Schembechler back coaching after his second open heart surgery. Has he mellowed? Here's what his players had to say.
I haven't seen him this energetic and motivated in a long time.
He's been really a feisty little guy. I mean, he's pumped up. He's ready to go for the season.
He's really positive. He's upbeat. He's a little looser, which a lot of guys say lucky for the freshman because he's a little nicer. But he's been great.
He's got fire in his eyes. It's like he's rejuvenated. He's, 10 years younger. He's out here, just with as much enthusiasm as the players, and it's a good feeling. The attitude of the team is a lot better.
One coach, one address, and he really should be the Heart Association cover boy. At the 1970 Rose Bowl, a heart attack. Mid-70s, open heart surgery. December of '87, the second open heart surgery. But what this man loves to do more than anything is coach football, even though he's taken on the added duties as athletic director up at Ann Arbor. Now with good striking position, his offense goes to work, and Bowles is stuck hard that time by Andre Jones, number 70, the outside linebacker from Hyattsville, Maryland, number 7.
Andre Jones has to be the playmaker on this defense. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, but has tremendous speed. A great special teams player a year ago, but he's in a position, outside linebacker, that can really raise havoc in an offense. Should make big plays from the outside.
The inside men for the Irish right now. Bolkar is there with Stonebreaker. Pritchett on the sidelines. Stams and Jones, the outside linebackers. 2nd and 10, and Callaway in motion. They fake the draw. Taylor keeps it, and he's pushed out of bounds on the far side after a gain of about 3 yards.
At the top of the show, we said Michael Taylor didn't have to win the game for himself, didn't have to try to do that. I think he's playing within himself today. He's not throwing the ball particularly well or for a lot of yards, but he's just leading his team. He's got a presence about him, and you can see his confidence grow.
He started last year against Northwestern. He was able to complete only 1 pass in that game, but he had a long touchdown run. Then he started in the Hall of Fame Bowl against Alabama. 3rd and long for Taylor and the Michigan offense. That inside shuffle, it worked once, but not a second time, as Chris Zorich, number 50, the nose man from Chicago Vocational High School, made the stop.
Zorich Zorich made a big play here. Otherwise, Horde is going to run for about 30 yards. This is the little shuffle pass inside. He drops back, dumps it off to Horde. There's a huge hole here. Would have easily picked up the first down, but Zorich refused to be blocked. And that's what it takes sometimes at nose tackle.
Strong performance by the Notre Dame defense. Michigan at midfield could not move, and now Gillette standing on his own 40-yard line. Hangs one high. Waters makes a mistake, and Michigan is recovered. It's off his body, and the ball is loose. He was trying to get away from it that time, and Bobby Abrams, number 24, recovers the fumble. It was a loose ball when it touched him. It became a live ball.
Twice tonight, Ricky Waters has slipped. Once he caused an interception. This time he slips as he tries to get away from the ball, and it hits him right in the chest, I believe. And there the Michigan hits him right in the left leg there, and then again in the knee. And Abrams makes the recovery. Special teams have had big plays on both teams tonight.
So Ricky Waters giveth an 81-yard return for a touchdown, and Waters taketh away. Fumble at the 15. Big scoring opportunity for the Wolverines here. Against the blitz, they run bulls inside the 10-yard line. Stonebreaker hit him, and then Smagala cleans up on the tackle.
Can't say enough about John Vitale, the center, the way he is playing, Brent. If you're going to have a good offensive football team, you need leadership in your offensive line, and that's where John Vitale is doing it.
Consoling Ricky Waters. Mark Green, one of the tri-captains there to the right, telling him not to get upset, to stay in the game. A long way yet to go. Here it is, second down. A long 4 for the Wolverines. This is Bowles, and stretched out and down. Todd Light, number 1 from Flint, Michigan, comes up to stop a Wolverine.
The first guy who came charging through was Michael Stonebreaker, number 42, right in the middle of the screen, who really cleared out a couple of blockers. Stonebreaker comes in from here. Light comes from the outside, but there's about 3 other blue jerseys as well. Pritchett's number 34. There's Stonebreaker. He runs right through an interferer, the offensive guard, and clears the way for Light. It's good defensive teamwork. That's 9 tackles for Michael Stonebreaker.
Biggest play of the night. 3rd and 7. Taylor can't call his signals, and the referee will give him an official's timeout. Too much noise down here at this end.
Brent, I always think that's a mistake, because I guarantee you the next time he gets up underneath the center, he's going to hear even more noise.
The student body is positioned there on the left side of your screen. That's the end where Michigan is going right now, so it will be 3rd down. We're at South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame Stadium, with Pat Hayden and John Dockery. I'm Brent Musburger. This is CFA College Football. Notre Dame, which led 13-0, now trying to hold on as Michigan has cut that lead to 6. 13-7, time remaining there in the 3rd quarter. The season opener for both these teams.
Michigan has had some success with their sprint draw on 3rd down. They haven't been very successful throwing the ball.
McMurtry and Callaway are wide. Walker, the tight end. Bunch and Bowles, the running back. Taylor taking his time. The defense trying to quiet the crowd.
Opportunity. The referee has to take control here. He can go ask the PA announcer to tell the crowd to be quiet, or they'll charge a timeout against Notre Dame. We'll talk to the captains.
the referee over to talk to Pritchett now.
They talk to your captains, and they go over the PA system. Michigan has come out in a split back formation here, which really now Notre Dame has had a long time to look at that formation as they stood up under the line. And ordinarily it's a passing formation, but thus far tonight, Michigan has run a lot of draws and off-tackle plays from split backs. I wonder if Bo will change the play call now.
He had a few words with his quarterback during the second stoppage. Andre Jones, the linebacker, came over to the Notre Dame sideline. Third and 7. The ball is at the Notre Dame 11-yard line. Michigan can get a first down inside the 5 without scoring. Bowles and Bunch, the running backs. Taylor out of bounds. He overthrew McMurtry. Field goal time, and a penalty marker has been thrown. Smagala may have pushed on the play.
Late flag by the side judge, it looked like.
Was there contact?
There was contact. Oh, it was bump and run that looked like down the field, but it was a very late flag.
Was that pass catchable?
The ball was out of the field of play. And to be pass interference, the ball definitely has to be catchable. The ball was outside the playing field.
Certainly did not appear to be catchable. The officials huddling down there, and let's see what the ruling is.
Defensive holding they called, not pass interference.
Illegal use of hands. Defense. Automatic first down, half the distance.
So an automatic first down. The ball is just shy of the 5-yard line. A first and goal for Michigan, and a big break.
And here's where Bo likes to go to his wishbone formation.
He brings it up with Bunch, Ford, and Bowles. This is Ford. Stopped at the 4-yard line. His forward progress. George Streeter leading the defense, and Colts urging the troops on, and upset too.
He is upset. It looked like there was illegal procedure on the right side of line of Michigan, and there was an official right there. The line judge was right there but did not call it. Looked like the right tight end moved. Should have been a flag. Brent, watch the right side of the screen. You can't see it in that play. The right tight end moved early. There should have been a flag.
Second and goal. Taylor again pleading with the referee and backs out, and there is the penalty flag thrown against the crowd.
That's interesting. Ordinarily, that's a charged timeout as a penalty. They're calling unsportsmanlike conduct.
The officials huddling at the 5. Is he waving the penalty flag off? A timeout has been charged to Notre Dame.
A little carried away through the flag. It is not a penalty. It's a charged timeout.
That leaves the Irish with 2, and Holtz getting an explanation and giving one too at the same time.
Clearly, none of these officials are named Murphy tonight.
Holtz is lecturing about that movement on the right side of the line.
And he is right.
flying here tonight in South Bend.
Well, if Lou Holtz was complaining about early movement, I think he's got a legitimate complaint. It's really incredible to me, too, Brent, because the linesman was right there, and that is his call.
So a costly loss of a timeout for Notre Dame.
You're absolutely right. In a close ball game, you never know how that's going to hurt you when you come down to the stretch.
Michigan huddling over at the far side with Coach Schembechler.
Michael Stonebreaker, the inside linebacker for Notre Dame. This is what he thinks football is all about when you're right down here in the goal line. We talked to him yesterday, and this is his kind of football.
Michigan comes back with a 2nd and goal. We have 6:24 left in the 3rd period. The Irish lead the Wolverines 13-7. Bunch, Williams, and Horde in that backfield, along with 2 tight ends. Williams dives for the end zone, and he is stopped short. It'll be 3rd and goal. Bolcar and Stonebreaker were in the middle of that somewhere. And the play about to be brought in by Tony Bowles.
Good defense here by Notre Dame. They faked to the fullback early. I think everybody thought the fullback was going to get it. But there's Tracy Williams, number 36, and 47, Bolcar, made the stop.
3rd and goal. Bowles is hammered. White was there, but Ned Bolcar, number 47, came through and hit him first. A sensational play by Bolcar.
Goal line defense is nothing more than great determination. Ned Bolcar may be a little bit awkward, but he knows how to stop the fullback inside. A terrific read. His job is to read the guard when he blocks down, step up. Pritchard did it, number 34. Bolcar, 47, did it as well. That's good team defense.
It is 4th and goal. Williams, Bunch, Ford are the backs. Taylor keeps it on a bootleg for the touchdown. Michigan scores as Taylor keeps it and bootlegs for 6. On 4th and goal, Michael Taylor kept it and scored the touchdown, and now Michigan will come from the swinging gate with the score tied at 13. Gillette to attempt the extra point as the offensive line swings back over to block for him. Gillette purple. Michigan leads for the first time tonight.
This was a terrific call by Bo Schembechler. 4th and inches. The outside is usually open. Most teams will try this. Every blue jersey's inside tackling the fullback as Michael Taylor fakes the ball well and gets himself into the end zone to tie the ball.
So when you come back, Notre Dame will be receiving the kickoff.
Dave Chester, the right guard, and Andre Jones, the linebacker. Sometimes guards do good fakes. He fakes the trap. Jones comes right down as Taylor comes in and sneaks right behind Andre Jones for the score. See the right guard pull? And that's where Andre Jones thinks the ball is, and that's an easy touchdown for Taylor.
The inexperience of a young linebacker. And now Michigan will kick it off as Michael Taylor has scored on a 4th and goal. Gillette's extra point makes it 14-13. We have 4:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter here in South certainly hope you're enjoying this one. It's a dandy. Raheem Ismail set to come out for the Irish. He's standing back by his own goal. Gillette takes it deep to the speedster, and they let Johnson field it at the 5. Johnson down at the 22, where Tony Rice and the Irish offense will go to work. Tomorrow we'll start our coverage at 12:30 Eastern. The NFL Today. Come along as Dick Butkus talks to the fridge in Chicago this week and find out what's going on with the Bears. Many of you will watch the Bears play Indianapolis, and also a lot of you folks will see San Francisco and Giants. That's the rest of our early lineup there, leading into the finals of the U.S. Open. Matt Spielander against Yvonne Lindell tomorrow afternoon after football. 12:30 is when we start. The Irish start here on 1st and 10. They swing it to Green. He's able to hold off a tackle. David Key, the defender from Michigan.
That play didn't look like much. It didn't gain many yards, and Mark Green got hit pretty hard, but Tony Rice got his first completion. Believe me, having been a quarterback who's been old for 20 or 30 a few times, that means a lot to you.
Even though it was for negative yards. Green out, and Brooks in at tailback. Johnson is the fullback. He zips it complete. Number 80, Steve Alanese for the first down, and a big play, a 23-yard gain.
Tony Rice has a lot of heart. He heard all last year he couldn't throw the ball. He didn't throw the ball well in the first half. It comes right back out, completes his first 2 passes in the second half. This one right downfield to Alanese, who found a little dead spot right in the middle of the defense. That's a well-thrown ball.
The freshman, Derek Brown, is his tight end. He's set to the right. That's a name you're going to hear a lot of through the years as the fullback Johnson goes right straight ahead. Sensational second effort. Battled all the way to the 49-yard line. Checking that scoreboard, UCLA impressively over Nebraska, and they will jump up to challenge Miami. Arizona over Texas Tech. Illinois and Arizona State are tied in the first quarter, and Washington State, which beat Illinois, has now done it again against the Big Ten. 2nd and 5 here for the Irish. Johnson breaking free for the first down.
Notre Dame is one of the very few teams that actually has specific calls for the fullback in the I formation. Most I formation teams just use the fullback as a blocker. But Notre Dame uses Anthony Johnson and Braxton Banks as very big in their game plan, running inside traps.
Johnson has gained 39 yards with those traps in 4 carries. He's still the fullback. Green is the tailback. This is Green straight ahead, fighting off John Milligan for that gain. Well, Schembechler said it to John Dockery. The Notre Dame backs have been running extremely hard, as you see the scores from the American League East. Boston shutting out Cleveland. The Yankees rallying, scoring 7 runs to beat Detroit. And Seattle over Milwaukee by 1. But the Red Sox, getting that great pitching performance out of Roger Clemens, are now certainly the team to beat in the American League's Eastern Division. Ball is inside the Michigan 40-yard line. This is Brooks. He gets inside the 35-yard line, but it'll be short of a first down. We're in South Bend, Indiana, with Pat Hayden and John Dockery. I'm Brent Musburger. Welcome to Notre Dame Stadium, those of you who have watched UCLA beat Nebraska tonight. Notre Dame is moving on Michigan. Michigan leads Notre Dame 14-13. They were behind 13-0 in this game. Mixed up, and Rice spins away, shows his athletic ability, and appeared to get the first down.
That's a terrific play by Tony Rice. You know, you talk about him not beating you with his arms, but he certainly can beat you with his legs. There was a mix-up between himself and the fullback. Took a little bit wide step, but just turned right around, took a shot in the back, but picked up 4 or 5 yards in the first down. That's a nice play.
Ball is at the Michigan 31-yard line. to the short side of the field. Waters out to the left. He pitches, and this is Green. Green to the 15-yard line for another Notre Dame first down. A 16-yard burst by the Tri-Captain.
This is a different Tony Rice this half. We've seen him complete 2 passes. We've seen him make something out of nothing on the last play. This time he executes the option beautifully. Comes down the line of scrimmage. Quickly he pitches the ball to Green, gets a nice block from his wide receiver, Alanis, and the Fighting Irish have another first down. Good downfield blocking by the wide receiver, Alanis. When you get a wide receiver who can block, he turn a 5-yard gain into a 15-yard gain.
This is Johnson again, powering his way close to the 10-yard line on first down. A very impressive march by Notre Dame following that Michigan touchdown on 4th and goal.
And they've done a little bit of everything, Brent, on this drive. They've been able to throw the ball downfield. They've run some option. They've run the tailback, and they've run the fullback inside.
Now, in the first half, after scoring on an 81-yard punt return, the Irish got to the 15 and had to settle for a field goal. They got to the 22 and had to settle. Now they are down near the 10-yard line. Second down. This is Waters out of the wishbone. Abrams, 24, leading the defensive charge that time, along with number 3, Trip Wellborn. This will make it third.
CBS Sports presents college football. Tonight's CFA game is sponsored by Michelob. Michelob is a proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. Shop Vac Wet Dry Vacuums. If it doesn't say Shop Vac, keep shopping. And by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
Welcome back to South Bend on a perfect September evening. 60,000 fans packed into Notre Dame Stadium. Michigan leads by 1 point as we start the 4th quarter. Brenton, Pat, take it over.
It would take a Harvard man to take us to the roof of the library at Notre Dame to set the scene on this beautiful evening. But we get set to start the final 15 minutes. Michigan trying to hold off Notre Dame. The Wolverines leading the Irish 14-13. This is the 11th play in this drive for Tony Rice and Notre Dame. Green is behind Banks. 2 tight ends. And Banks, the fullback, powering right straight ahead. How our game has gone this far. Notre Dame struck first. And then Michigan had to come up with 14 unanswered points to take the lead. Rice's completions in the second half. And for rushing yards, Notre Dame has had the best of it, surprisingly. And on 3rd down, the defense holds, and here comes 5'4" Reggie Ho, 135 pounds of dynamite out of Hawaii. His 3rd attempt is perfect. 31 yards, 38 yards, now 26.
It is amazing. You have a game of Big Ben, and you have a 5'5", 115-pound player making a difference like this.
Notre Dame leads it 16-14. We'll be right back.
Impressive showing tonight by the UCLA Bruins, knocking off second-ranked Nebraska. Troy Aikman, 205 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Bruins with 28 points in the first quarter go on to give Terry Donahue his 100th career win in that victory over Nebraska. Now, also a note today, Jim Young picked up a milestone as well. His 100th career win as the Cadets march past Holy Cross. So let's go back to Brent and Pat.
All right, Jim, thank you. And here Notre Dame leading Michigan 16-14. Pat, we said a year ago, Tim Brown is the man to beat in the Heisman Trophy race. Let me state now that Troy Aikman of UCLA is the man to beat this year. He is the definite leader in that race.
He's playing on a very good football team that's well coached, and he's off to a great start.
Hackett to kick it off for Notre Dame. Williams and Bowles are back deep. Colasar was shaken up in the first half, and he has not been able to play for Michigan here in the second half. Bowles at the 5. Short of the 20. George Streeter and Andre Jones were there for the Irish. Tomorrow always start at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. Then you will see one of these games. Rams, Green Bay, Minnesota, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Phoenix, Cincinnati, and a couple of big ones, San Francisco and the Giants, not to mention the Bears and Indianapolis.
Hey, how about those Rams last week? They've got an emerging star. Kevin Green, outside linebacker for the Rams, had about 4 sacks last week.
I should have known better. I just read off last week's schedule. I only gave those scores all last week. What am I thinking about? Oh, that was crazy. First down. How dumb am I? First and 10 for Michigan now. Taylor hands it off, and that was Bowles coming into the heart of the defense. Gentlemen, help me out. Give my fans the right games, okay? I know the Giants are playing San Francisco. There we are, and Chicago's playing Indianapolis. Your Rams playing Detroit. Folks in the Detroit area will be watching that one late tomorrow afternoon, and we'll keep you up to date on Lindell Vielander. New Orleans, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Those are the correct second weekend.
You shouldn't ask questions like that. You may get some answers.
All right, second down and 5 now. Here's Bowles, stacked up again by that veteran defense. Flash Gordon, number 38, out of Hillside, New Jersey, leading the way. That's your impression of this Notre Dame defense here tonight?
A much improved defense, I think, over a year ago because they have tremendous speed, and particularly in the linebacker position. Flash Gordon, of course, has great speed. Stonebreaker has 12 tackles on the night. Stams has 9, and you need speed to compete against the kind of teams that Notre Dame plays.
Well, let's see what kind of a goal line stand they could make against Michigan right now. This is 3rd and short. Full house wishbone, double tied in for the Wolverines, trying to move the chains here. They hammered the fullback bunch. They ganged up on him that time. Brian Flannery, one of the defenders, and it will depend on where they spot the ball as to whether or not Michigan gets the first down. I was thinking of our friend Jimmy Johnson down in Miami watching this game tonight, and all the hoopla up here in South Bend. I'm sure many of you folks read that little anecdote in the newspaper about the young Notre Dame fan who called Jimmy and said, "I hate you on beating the rush." And Jimmy, I'm here to tell you that you should change the home phone number. Somebody published it in the Notre Dame student newspaper yesterday, and they've asked a whole lot of folks to beat the rush.
I bumped into 7 kids, 7 students who claimed to make that call.
Well, the big measurement goes Michigan's way, and it will be first down at the Michigan 29-yard line. Speaking of Miami and Coach Johnson, he's more concerned about watching Michigan tonight because he'll be up in Ann Arbor for the opener. I'm sure that 100,000 plus will be up there in that beautiful stadium next Saturday afternoon for the home opener for Michigan. Holloway in motion. They run Bowles, and again, the heart of that defense not yielding much.
They've played great first down defense and made them get the first downs the hard way.
And they put them in 2nd and 7 this time. Well, near the conclusion of tonight's CBS game, we're pleased to renew an 18-year tradition. The selection of a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game. And Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both Michigan and Notre Dame. 2nd and 7 now for the Wolverines. Taylor off the fake, buys some time, and throws complete to Callaway on the far side. Driven out of bounds near the 49-yard line. A first down for Michigan. George Streeter takes him out of bounds after a 17-yard gain.
We said at the top of the show that Michael Taylor had a play within himself. He's done a beautiful job of that tonight. No turnovers. I believe he's 6 of 7 passing, and he keeps coming up with big play after big play, moving those chains, particularly here in the second half.
The Irish are without one defensive player they were counting on this year. John Foley, who was switched to defensive tackle in the Cotton Bowl, was injured in that loss to Texas A&M, underwent shoulder surgery. He will not play this year for Notre Dame. He'll be back next year, however. This is Horde, who scored their touchdown, blasting straight ahead for a big gain on first first down, and that's one of the harder runs that a Michigan back has shown us tonight.
He is a bull, and he got a terrific push by his offensive line. Watch again the center, Vitale, come off. The left guard, Dingman, really comes off, gets his helmet right in the player. Then Horde, with those big old thick thighs, does the rest himself.
Big old thick thighs raised on some dandy cooking down in New Orleans. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds. Second down and 2 now for Taylor and Michigan. Horde again trying to get the first down, but I think he was thrown back by Mike Stonebreaker that time, short of it. We'll see where they spot the ball. It's going to be very close again. So how did the top 20 fare? Well, Michigan State upset by Rutgers. Coach Dick Anderson, who was on Joe Paterno's staff at Penn State, doing a good job there at the University of New Jersey. Auburn over Kentucky 20. I'll get it changed yet.
Keep trying.
I'm going to keep working on it. Yeah. Georgia, I'm very impressed with Coach Dooley's team this year. 38-10. I think TCU is a decent ball club, and Florida State comes up big. Inches to go for the first down. Fullback, and they pitch it outside to Bulls. Beautifully executed off the fake. Half the stadium thought the fullback had the ball that time. The pitch outside. Flash Gordon is forced to defend on the outside, but it's a first down for Michigan.
A terrific play call by Gary Moeller, the offensive coordinator of Michigan. 3 times they've been in third and short, and 3 times they've either run the fullback or the quarterback sneak. This time they fake the fullback. The option is executed beautifully by Taylor, and that's an easy first down. They pick up, what, about 17 yards there.
Slick play. He rode the fullback's belly perfectly, drew the linebacker into him, then made the pitch. Great execution on that play. First and 10 now for Taylor. They run forward behind the right side of the line. Stonebreaker leading the defense.
It's his 14th tackle.
His father, Steve Stonebreaker, in attendance here tonight, and he has to be proud of the effort being turned in by his son, who could not play last year. West Virginia comes up big for the second week in a row. Phillips with a big game. Alabama, we heard from Bobby Humphrey at halftime, shuts out Temple by 37. South Carolina, impressive again tonight. And Iowa rebounds after that embarrassing loss over at Hawaii, after Mike Francesa and Sport Magazine crowned them champions. Bulls behind the left side on second down is stuffed. I had to give my friend Mike a little pop for that.
Michigan is driving the ball, Brent, but it has not been easy. A very stout Notre Dame defense, particularly up front. And I think Bo Schembechler really thought it might have been a little bit easier trying to run this ball against a young Notre Dame defensive front, but it hasn't been.
Third down and 7 for Michigan. Taylor keeps it inside the 20-yard line for another Michigan first down. Beautifully executed quarterback draw for 13 yards.
Michael Taylor has played with great presence and poise tonight. He has made all the right moves and all the right decisions. A little play-action fake. It was a quarterback draw all the way. He found a little crease, and he's got some pretty good legs and quick feet. Knew where the first down marker was and easily picked it up.
Michael Taylor, out of Lincoln Heights, Ohio, started 2 games last season, has replaced Demetrius Brown. He has a first and 10 at the Notre Dame 20-yard line. Bulls, a penalty marker down as Bulls gets inside the 15-yard line. It's thrown by the umpire, and frequently that's a holding call against the offensive line.
Even though that was a penalty there on Michigan, I'm amazed how well played this game has been and how the offense is, how well they've executed in their first game.
They have have a new defensive coordinator this year with the Fighting Irish. Pat,
Barry
how about
Alvarez?
their scheme this year under Coach Alvarez?
Well, Foge Fazio was the defensive coordinator a year ago, and it was pretty much assignment football. And I think I talked to some of the linebackers, Stonebreaker and some of those guys. They felt they have a lot more freedom under Barry Alvarez's system. There's Barry right there with the headset on, signaling the defense in. But they think they have a lot more freedom, and they think they can come up with a lot more big plays.
He helped develop a dandy inside linebacker at Iowa, Larry Station. Many of you, especially in the Midwest, remember how terrific he was. And boy, what a surprise that Tennessee loses again. And Duke, after beating Northwestern, makes it 2 in a row. Callaway on 1st and 19 in motion. Bulls is hit by Ned Bolcar. Remember all the ballyhoo about Bolcar when he came out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and all the publicity? It took a couple of years for him to arrive, but he's coming on strong.
Watch his eyes in his head. Well, you can't see his eyes, but the back of his head, he is keyed right in the offensive line. He sees the guard, the left guard step down. He gets right in there, read the play beautifully. He keys the guard, and then he steps up into the hole.
He's made 7 tackles tonight. He did not start. Pritchett and Stonebreaker started. They used all 3 frequently. 2nd down and a bunch. They run the draw with Horde, and he'll go nowhere. Read beautifully by Brian Flannery, number 92, but a penalty flag is down. Notre Dame signaling that it's going to be against Michigan, which it is, and so they'll decline that.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and forever. I know what Bo Schembechler is thinking here. Get something that gets Mike Gillette a chance to kick a field goal. Just pick up 5, 6, 7 yards.
Michigan trailing by 2, 16-14, so a successful field goal would give them a 1-point lead with 6:39 to go. And I would guess that both Gillette and Reggie Ho are starting to get a few butterflies right now, because this one might come down to both of them.
Frank Stams on the pass rush has been sensational for Notre Dame all night.
McMurtry to the left, Callaway to the right. Taylor to run that draw play again, and this time the middleman Chris Zorich, the nose guard out of Chicago's Vocational High School, makes the big play. That's the same high school that produced one Dick Butkus, and as you would expect, Butkus has been his hero as he grew up playing ball in Chicago.
Chris Zorich right over the center. Didn't play a down last year as a nose tackle. It's really a new position for him, but he has played magnificently tonight. Fought off 2 blocks and made the big stop.
And that means it'll be a 49-yard effort for Gillette. Solemn to hold. Gillette hammers it long enough. Good. And Michigan leads on a 49-yard field goal by Mike Gillette. He has been forced to kick off, punt, and attempt all the field goals and extra points tonight, and he has performed magnificently, giving the Wolverines a 1-point lead. Mike Gillette told us in Ann Arbor that he would be prepared to punt until they got to the 40-yard line. With time running down in the 4th, they needed him to attempt this 49-yarder. And so the catcher on the Wolverine baseball team nails a field goal, and then, well, a little point over there toward the Notre Dame bench. And guess who's starting to warm up in that direction? Reggie Ho, and he is dwarfed by that kicking net down there. He has already made his first 3 attempts as the Notre Dame kicker. Now Hackett is warming up also because he is the long man. If they must go outside of 40 yards, it will not be Ho who is holding for Hackett, but they will go with the longer leg, and both men have to be ready. 5.5 minutes to go here. Michigan leading Notre Dame 17-16, and here's that man Gillette to kick it off. Ismail standing back at the Notre Dame 3-yard line. He's got it at the scoring has gone tonight. Waters, with that electrifying 81-yard punt return, made it 7-0 Notre Dame. Then Ho hit his first field goal, 31 yards, and it was 10-0. Ho came back to make it 13-0 before Michigan got on the scoreboard. The Wolverines, with Horde coming up over the top, made it 13-7. Then on 4th and goal, Taylor kept it on the bootleg, and Ho's 26-yard field goal gave Notre Dame the lead again. But now it's Gillette's 49-yarder, as Johnson is in at fullback on this first down. Off a fake, Rice to throw, a lot of time, far side, broken up, and a penalty flag down. Interference against David Key of Michigan.
Good call. He went right over the back of the Notre Dame receiver. You're going to see it here. Again, Tony Rice, the second half, has thrown the ball a lot better. And David Key goes right through. His hand didn't hit him, but his body went right through the receiver. The official right there, the side judge, made the call.
Now, in college football, they go back to the line on pass interference, and they measure the penalty off from the line of scrimmage. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it will give Notre Dame a first down on their own 35-yard line. Strong 5.5 minutes. In-State comes up a winner. Brooks is the tailback. Rice on the roll is keeping it. Daylight on the left side. Rice busts across into Michigan territory. A 21-yard run by the Notre Dame quarterback.
And a beautiful block by the fullback, Anthony Johnson, number 22. He has run the ball well, and he's going to make a sensational block here for Rice. This looks like a run pretty much all the way. Watch 22 Johnson. Left of the screen, he knocks really two defenders down. Good downfield block by the wide receiver Ismail, and that's a nice play.
He hasn't passed for much, but Rice has rushed for 48 yards with 6 carries here tonight against Michigan. First and 10 for Notre Dame. This is Brooks. He squeezed out a yard before Osman and Messner bring him down, and it'll be 2nd and long. A lot of time left, 4:51. Keep in mind that Notre Dame lost a timeout when the crowd was penalized for making too much noise, so they have 2 timeouts remaining.
We've seen a lot of action from Tony Brooks tonight. He's playing with that stretcher in his foot. He's wearing black high tops, and they have a metal support in that shoe, which has allowed him to be able to play tonight.
Johnson in front of Brooks. Rice to Brooks underneath. Brooks is inside the 30-yard line. Notre Dame first down as Pat Eilers cleared the way with the block. A 17-yard gain.
And this is a perfect kind of pass for Tony Rice. The little play-action pass, the delay out of the backfield. Brooks is going to accept the play-action fake here, and then he's just going to cross over the line of scrimmage. The ball's in the air, only about 10 yards, well thrown, right in the numbers there for an easy catch for Brooks, and that's a big play.
First and 10 at the Michigan 26-yard line.
And that's a big play.
First and 10 at the Michigan 26-yard line. They bring the wing back, and Green slipped. He slipped making his cut. It'll be 2nd and long as the result.
I really like this Mark Green. He's been a consistent runner for Notre Dame for 3 years now. Led the team the last 2 years, and that's very tough to do. The consistency out of the running back, it's easy to get injured there, but Green has done it the last 2 years for the Fighting Irish.
Alanese and Eilers, the wide receivers, set to the right. Green, the tailback. Green straight up the middle. The hole is open by the middle of the line, and Green explodes to the 19.
Mark Green averages nearly 5 or 6 yards a carry, did a year ago, and most of that is from tackle to tackle. He's only 180 pounds, but he really gets up. Watch the block of the left tackle here. You're going to see right here, he's going to make a nice block and really make a nice hole here for Mark Green. And Green reads it so very well. That's Grunhard, number 75, who made the block, and then Green does the rest.
Here's the 3rd down and 4 yards for Notre Dame. Rice keeps it on the option, breaks free, may have reached for the 1st down. David Key was holding down. It'll depend now on where they spot the ball and the measurement. They'll bring the chains across here to the near side of the field for this measurement. It was 3rd down. If they're left with 4th and inches, you would expect Notre Dame to go for the 1st down.
They've been very successful with the wishbone running short yardage plays.
Time is a factor in Holtz's decision if they come up short. 2:53 left on that clock. So they get the 1st down.
Terrific effort by Tony Rice on a play that was pretty well defense by the Wolverines. 26 right there. David Key comes up, didn't get his head on the right side, the correct side of Tony Rice, and that's why Rice was able to carry him an extra 2 or 3 yards.
1st and 10 for Notre Dame. The ball is at the Michigan 16-yard line. Michigan leads Notre Dame 17-16. We've got 2:45 left in the game, and Rice will use another timeout, and Lou not happy with that. He's unhappy with that timeout.
An American success story.
In 1.3 billion years, our sun will burn out, leaving us in total darkness. We say it's never too early to stock up for the big night. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob Light?
A word about Almond Joy.
It has been a wonderful football game, and let's go downstairs to John Dockery. Doc?
Brent, you mentioned that Lou Holtz was very aggravated with that timeout with Tony Rice. Tony Rice came over to the sidelines. Holtz was aggravated, but immediately got control of himself, put his hand on Rice's helmet very affectionately, and they both calmed down. Now back to you, Brent.
Yeah, John, no time to be upset with your quarterback. 2:42 to go. The Irish with a 1st down at the Michigan 16.
And Notre Dame has to be thinking touchdown here to make it a 4-point game. A field goal, of course, makes it a 2-point game, and Michigan could win it with a field goal.
And Gillette has already hit on a 49-yarder. Holtz will go with the full house wishbone. And a double tight end. They pound behind the left side of the offensive line. David Key again coming up to make the stop. Green checking back into Rice's backfield.
Anthony Johnson running the ball inside gets more out of nothing than just about any back I have seen. 3 or 4 times tonight he has done it by himself and gotten 4 yards.
Leaving Notre Dame with a 2nd and 6. Ball is inside the Michigan 13. This is Green, and he is tripped up. Big defensive play by Mike Teeter, number 91. One of the reserves in that defensive line for Coach Schembechler and the Wolverines, with a great play that time.
Terrific play by Teeter. Number 91, he's playing nose tackle, beats the block of Sandry, 53, and gets to Green's feet before he has a chance to dance around him. Great penetration there by Teeter.
3rd and 6. Double tight end, I formation, Brooks the tailback. Johnson up the middle, breaks a tackle, still battling, and now he is down inside the 10-yard line. This will leave 4th and 3. We would expect to see Reggie Ho at the 120 mark.
Oh, yeah. Got to send it up. And the Michigan defense did their job. They just want to try to keep it to a 2-point game.
Now the Notre Dame record for the most field goals in a game is 4. And Ho already has 3 in his debut. He's made field goals from the 31, 38, and 26. Schembechler and Michigan will pour a little ice on the young man from Hawaii. Timeout, Wolverines. It isn't very often often that Notre Dame has turned its fate over to someone 5'4" and 135 pounds, but it's up to Reggie Ho now with time running out. The other two important men in this sequence are the snapper, Timmy Grunhard, number 75. He's 6'3", 279, and number 11, Pete Graham. So here we go, a 26-yarder. Good for Ho. He's 4 for 4, the biggest little man in South Bend. Tingling all over when you watch a college game like this and a young man like Ho in his college debut.
Remarkable poise for a guy who's never done this here.
Watch the follow through, head down, drives through the ball, and a big hug from Pete Graham. But now hold on, there's 1:13, and Gillette has already made a 49-yarder. Notre Dame leads by 2, 19-17. This one is far from over. Michigan with 2 timeouts remaining.
And remember, they had a big kickoff return earlier in the game by Tony Bowles. It was 59 yards in the first half.
And only a tackle by Francesco prevented it from being a home run. DeJuan Francisco. It'll be Tracy Williams and Tony Bowles back deep. They're standing near the 10-yard line. Hackett has been unable to drive them back into the end zone. This time, Bowles gets it at the 6, bobbles it. 15, 20, 25. Down at the 36-yard line. 1:06 left on the clock, and Michigan with the ball and trailing by 2 points, 19-17.
Absolutely plenty of time for Marco Taylor. What he can't do now is just try to force the ball. He hasn't done it all night. He's had pretty good protection here in the second half, unlike the first half, and has been able to get the ball downfield. This is the point in the game, though, where your offensive line is either going to win it or lose it for you.
Bunch and Bowles are the running backs. McMurtry and Callaway are the wide men on first down. Taylor throws far side, complete to Callaway. He gets the first down for Michigan. An 11-yard gain. Clock is stopped at 59 seconds.
Terrific pass protection here by the Michigan offensive line. Easy throw for Michael Taylor. I am surprised because Michigan really doesn't throw the ball to the tight end much, that they don't double cover the outside receivers to prevent that kind of pass.
Charge was Frank Stamms, number 30, with time running down. Michigan uses a timeout. They stop it at 43 seconds on the clock. They leave themselves with 1 timeout. Notre Dame 19, Michigan 17. We'll be back for the conclusion. Next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time, down to Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. They'll host the Seminoles of Florida State. Here with 43 seconds remaining, Mike Gillette. His career-long 53 yards. He's hit a 49-yarder tonight. Michigan needs 18 yards to give him an opportunity to kick a 50-yarder. Ball is near midfield at the 48. This is 2nd and 10. Michael Taylor's gone all the way at quarterback for Michigan. Bunch and Bowles are lined up behind him. And the very dangerous wide receivers, McMurtry in the slot to the right, and outside of him is Callaway.
And I think they'll send Callaway in motion to try to get him over the middle and to prevent him from getting bumped on the line of scrimmage.
Taylor starts him. Off the fake. Taylor going over the middle, deflected, almost intercepted. He has had a great game defensively.
15 tackles, and here he gets in on pass defense way down the field. Those linebackers are tough to throw over. Pritchard 6'5", Stonebreaker 6'2", but if he had a little bit more touch and got it over the receiver, Callaway was open.
Bernie Southall was also there defensively. This is 3rd and 9. Taylor is 7 of 9 for 55 yards. Michigan must get to the Notre Dame 41-yard line for a first down. Callaway to the right, McMurtry to the left. Time throwing to McMurtry. First down, Michigan. A sensational 3rd down, 18-yard gain. Taylor to McMurtry.
And I think it's actually poor defense. When your tight end can't hurt you, you have to double cover the outside receivers. Don't let him off the line of scrimmage. He went down the field wide open.
That is within Gillette's range. That was the yardage they needed. This is first down, 24 seconds. Taylor throws it out of bounds and stops the clock. Michigan with a timeout, 2nd down here, and the coaches must decide where to bring it down, where to position it. We asked Gillette over in Ann Arbor a couple of days ago if he preferred any side as far as the hashes are concerned. He said no, it didn't matter. He could take the left hash where it is now, center of the field, or over to the right.
He's one of the more confident kickers I've ever met. You know, most of them are kind of wimps and flakes, but this guy is not. He's got his head screwed on straight, a very, very confident player. Rooms with number 60 right behind him, Mark Messner.
2nd down for Michigan. They run right straight ahead. Squeezing out a couple more yards, and the clock is down inside of 10 seconds. So it'll be time now for Michigan to use its final timeout and send Gillette onto the field. They stop the clock at 3 seconds. It'll come down to Mike Gillette. He made a 49-yarder.
Brent, Notre Dame has 1 timeout remaining. You wonder whether they will use it to make Gillette think about it a little bit.
So the pride of St. Joseph, Michigan, Mike Gillette, is ready to come out and attempt a field goal. Career-wise, he is 40 of 55. He has hit better than 72%. Young man who was drafted by the Royals baseball organization and elected to play football at Michigan.
One thing Notre Dame has is a very tall guy inside, and that is Pritchard, who is 6'6".
It comes down to this field goal of 48 yards, and Notre Dame will use that timeout. Gillette will leave and go over to the far side of the field. Can't get any tighter than this one's been here tonight.
And if you're Notre Dame, what you're thinking here is it's trying to get some speed on the corner to try to block it. Maybe an Andre Jones, number 7 on the outside, perhaps. Corny Southall is good off the corner as well. And then some quick inside penetration if you're thinking block. Of course, you have to be careful here roughing the kicker as well.
Those two fellows can do about it now. It's out of their hands. Lou continues to look for a 4-leaf clover, and Bo tries to find a way to keep Gillette calm down.
Really is incredible to me, though. You have so many big men playing the game now, and tonight both kickers have really been the difference.
Here it is. Mike Gillette, who earlier kicked a 49-yarder, will attempt a 48-yarder with Ken Solom holding. Dave Wild will snap it back. is on the way. No good. Notre Dame wins it. Scene unfolding here in South Bend as we go downstairs to John Dockery.
Lou, the little man won it for you. What a game. What can you say about it?
It was a great football game. I knew Michigan would be a great football team. I just have nothing but respect for our players, the way they played, the way they did things. It was a great hitting contest. Michigan played almost an error-free game. What can I say? Our passing game disappointed me, but our effort, the toughness, I'm so proud of them. But I got to give Michigan great credit.
What about your quarterback? He was two different things. In the first half, he was one way. Tony Rice in the second half was spectacular.
He threw the ball very well all fall. But that first half, he didn't do much in throwing it, but he runs the ball club, and we knew defense would have to carry it. But we're just glad to win and proud of our fans. They were tremendous, even though they got us a timeout.
Congratulations, Lou. We're being surrounded down here. Brent, now back up to you.
Thank you, John. Congratulations to Coach Holtz. And a great scene here in South Bend. There's no love affair like the student body at Notre Dame and its beloved football team as Mike Gillette, with time running out, sent a 48-yarder off to his right, which just missed. And it was tremendous pressure applied by the Notre Dame rush unit against Gillette, who is in agony as he sees the kick bend off to the right. And Notre Dame has won it 19-17 as Reggie Ho comes in and hits his first 4 field goal attempts wearing a Notre Dame uniform. And the students and the players down here to my left. So that's our scene in South Bend. Jim Nance, take it away for a moment.
All right, Brent, and I've got a smiling Ara Parsegian with me. Coach, that kick was awfully close.
Oh, boy, it really was. There's a little body English going on here. They played an outstanding football game, and I'm very happy for the Irish, and the defense really rose to the occasion, but there were no losers in that game. Both teams played outstanding football.
All right, Ara, let's take a look at some of the scores from today. UCLA over second-ranked Nebraska, 41-28. Troy Aikman, 13 for 22, 205 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Bruins won the game. Of course, he's a Heisman candidate, and here's what he had to say after the game, avenging 3 losses in the 80s.
I don't think revenge so much had anything to do with it. You know, we wanted to win. We felt like we should have won last year, just didn't play well, and we had a good team, good enough to play with them. And, there's just so much at stake. We're just tired of hearing so many times that we can't play with the big physical schools, and we're every bit as physical as what they are.
Again, UCLA had been trounced by Nebraska 3 occasions during the 80s, and UCLA avenges that loss tonight. 100th career win there for Terry Donahue. Clemson over Furman by 20. As expected, 23 straight wins over the Paladins for the Tigers. Oklahoma shut out North Carolina 28-0. Sooners 16-0 against the ACC. USC over Stanford 24-20. Late touchdown pass by Rodney Peete. It was a touchdown pass with 1:19 to go that pulled out the victory for the Trojans. What about Rodney Peete? You like him?
Oh, I really do. He did not have a great day, not certainly like Troy Aikman, but by golly, when he had to have it in that last drive in the 4th quarter when they were behind the whole time, he came up with the big plays, which shows you the mark of a great quarterback.
And of course, that win even more important because it was a Pac-10 contest. Auburn over Kentucky today, doubling up the Wildcats 20-10. Georgia over TCU by 4 touchdowns. Florida State coming back after last week's loss to Miami, 49-13. Deion Sanders intercepting the first play of the game, running it back for a touchdown. And also today, Houston was a winner over Louisiana Tech 60-0. 552 yards passing for Houston, which breaks the Southwest ball tonight in South Bend. Let's take it back right now to Brent Musburger. Brent?
All right, Jim, thank you. And our Chevrolet most valuable players of this exciting game for Notre Dame, Reggie Ho, their rookie place kicker, made 4 perfect ones from 31, 38, and 2 from 26. The last one, the game winner. It was indeed the tale of 2 kickers. And our Chevrolet player of the game for Michigan will be Mike Gillette of the Wolverines. He is not a loser, even though he missed this one from 48 yards, just off to the right, which left Notre Dame ahead by 2 points. But earlier, he nailed a 49-yarder. He was forced to handle all the kicking chores here tonight, and he just came up a few inches short. And a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each school's general scholarship fund to assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. It was a dandy. Notre Dame 19, Michigan 17. For John Dockery and Pat Hayden, I'm Brent Musburger. Now to send you to New York, and here's Jim Nance.
All right, Brent, so Mike Gillette missed by a whisker, and Notre Dame wins it 19-17. A couple of more scores tonight. Arizona taking on Texas Tech. Arizona leading as they've just begun the 4th quarter. Illinois and Arizona State knotted at 7 at halftime. Scott Mitchell, quarterback at Utah, 511 passing yards tonight and 3 touchdowns. The Utes will beat Idaho State. UTEP's John Harvey, 5 touchdowns on the day, 16 carries, 135 yards. Again, Rutgers, the big story today, 17-13 over Michigan State, the defending Big Ten champions. Duke over Tennessee. This is a real surprise. Duke was a winner, 31-26. Anthony Dilwig, the quarterback of Duke, threw for 3 touchdowns in that win. And Arkansas held on to beat Tulsa. Tulsa turning it over in the final minute. And next Saturday, let's remind you on CBS Sports, our college football action continues as 10th-ranked Florida State invades Death Valley for a shootout with 3rd-ranked Clemson. That's at 2:30 Eastern Time. Tomorrow, it's Week 2 of the National Football League on CBS, starting at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. They'll update the quarterback injury situation around the league, and Dick Butkus will have a look at the new, slimmer refrigerator, William Perry of the Bears. Then it's game time. 49ers visit the Giants. Chicago travels to Indianapolis, and the rest of our regional action. Check your local listings. So for Brent Musburger and Pat Hayden in South Bend, Jim Nance here along with Eric Parsegan. Good night from New York.